what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. So Eli Drinkwitz was on the SEC teleconference yesterday, Mario. Go ahead and get these ready to roll. Remember, if you want to get involved in today's show, youtube.com/1045 ESPN. Emil saying Texas, Ohio State, Washington, Michigan, FSU. We'll get to our top five here in a bit. Here is Eli Drinkwitz. He was asked about, when you're preparing for this LSU team, do you focus on the Ole Miss tape more due to LSU struggles? Here's Drinkwitz 3.
I think you look at it more based on the personnel that's involved. I mean, some of the personnel that played earlier in the season not there anymore, whether it's due to injuries or whatever the case may be. And I think the later you get into the season, you more develop into the identity that you're going to have. So I don't necessarily think it's a scheme-wise. I think when you watch that game, you realize, for me as an offensive coach, I have a much more appreciation for the way quarterback played. I thought Dart played outstanding. Judkins played, as good as any running back in the country in the yards after contact. They have several running backs that can really play well. So I think there was a lot of that game that was a special performance by Ole Miss as much as anything.
And so as he's kind of talking about there, LSU's certainly taken shape over the last few games. So, maybe you're not watching Ole Miss just be like, what can we do that Ole Miss did? But no, those are the guys you're going to be up against. Now, I would imagine that if I'm watching that tape and thinking, okay, I should probably see more 40 this week. Did y'all hear the report? Well, actually, we'll get to that in a little bit. Jake, what is Mizzou bringing to bear at the running back position this year? They have anybody anybody that kind of that like a Quinshon Judkins, where obviously Judkins hadn't done anything up to that moment last week, but then he was fantastic.
No, because we know who he is, and we were kind of waiting on him to have that breakout game. And
wait, that's right though. They got who's this Cody Schrader cat?
Right now he's second in the SEC in rushing.
Oh,
yeah. But he's not Quinshon Judkins.
No.
He's not that. But they will try to establish the run. He's already got 81 carries on the year, so they will try to do it. A lot of it's what sets up. Even Nathaniel Pete, the backup running back, if I'm remembering right, he was supposed to kind of be the guy. I remember them talking about Pete maybe more than Schrader coming in, but obviously Schrader has won that job. Certainly not bad running backs, and they're not afraid to run Brady Cook either. He can be a part of the thought process. And last week you struggled with all of it as well. You struggled with two running backs, with a quarterback. Not Quinshon Judkins, because I think when Judkins is at his best, he's the best in the league. But still, they got talented guys, and Schrader's kind of played above what they thought he could.
Yeah, I guess that's what becomes a bit concerning is they have a lot of the same elements that Ole Miss did. They have a quarterback that's playing even better than Jackson Dart, and he can run, like you said. They have a receiver that is better than anybody Ole Miss is bringing to bear, and Luther Burden. And although, again, they may not have a Judkins, they do have a Cody Schrader, who's currently second in the SEC in rush yards per game. So this LSU defense going to be challenged. And then the LSU offense is going to look too challenged, right? Are we going to get another shootout here? This is Drinkwitz 1. This is on how he approaches trying to defend Jaden and company.
They've got a very good, efficient offense. I only have them punting 9 times on the season, and we're through 5 games. That's an elite number right there. So our defense is going to have to be really good at 4-point plays in the red zone. We're going to have to be really good at trying to force takeaways, and offensively we got to make sure we value our possessions and take care of the ball and score points.
And then finally, here is Eli Drinkwitz talking about maybe the best sophomore in the entire country, his receiver, Luther Burden.
Last season he faced adversity on the football field for probably the first time in his life. Luther's always been the best player on his team, and when he got here, he got dinged up, he got injured, he was fighting through injuries, and he wasn't necessarily having the success that maybe he thought was just going to come. And you know what? Sometimes you have to face adversity and you have to respond. And the way he responded has elevated his level of success. And we talk about it all the time. There's just different phases of growth. And, when you face adversity and you overcome it, your confidence grows. And I think you see that with the way he trained this offseason, the way he practices right now. He's an elite practice player. And I think that translates to the performance that he has on the field.
I mean, yeah, it shows up on tape. And some of these players from Mizzou, I do think they're good players, but you do have to kind of dive into maybe the nitty-gritty of some of their stats. Like we were talking about Schrader earlier, almost 6 yards a carry. Yes, but if you look at in conference play, 3.7 yards per carry. So you can dive into a little bit. It doesn't flash as much like Burden flashes on every tape.
Yeah.
So that's a player, I'm not even going to care about what he does against conference, non-conference, because he is a player no matter who you play. So when you watch tape of Mizzou, I think Cook, the quarterback, stands out. I still just don't know why people were booing him. Like when Eli kind of blew up, and I wasn't there, so I don't know what those boos sounded like.
It wasn't the first or second game?
I think it was the second game, if I'm not mistaken. This man's gone longer than anybody in SEC history without throwing an interception.
No, for sure. I mean, he's the second highest rated quarterback in the conference right now. I want to say though, if we look at his 2022, yeah, see, but so that's what's kind of weird about his explosion, right? Is Cook's been there since 2020. And in 2021, he played a limited role. 2022, he finally gets a start. It's 14 touchdowns to 7 picks. It's 200 yards a game, 65% completion. Granted, he did run for 6 more and 600 yards, so something, but that's all very pedestrian, right?
Yeah.
Like he is almost having a Joe Burrow type of leap. Not with the volume, but in terms of the efficiency.
Yeah.
So 14 to 7 for the entirety of last year, touchdowns and picks, only 209 yards a game, 7 yards per attempt. Right now, 75% completion, so bump that up by 10. 293 yards a game, so bump that up by 33%, basically another extra 100 yards. 11 touchdowns to no picks, and 10.4 per attempt. So not dinking and dunking. Brady Cook. And so I guess what I'm getting at is through the first games this year, okay, here it is. Game number 1, he goes 17 to 21, but it's for 172 yards. Game 2, 14 to 19 for 204. But here comes the explosion. 23 to 35 for 356. 18 to 25 for 341. And then 33 of 41, 80% completion on 41 passes for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns against Vanderbilt. So he is riding a 3-game heater right now, Jake, that is unrivaled by anything else he's ever done in his college career. And I would say if you're in the zone, facing this LSU defense does not feel like something that's going to take you out the zone, especially not when you're at home. And who in the hell is going to guard Luther Burden? Like who? How do you guard him, Jake? When nobody can handle him one-on-one, and he's going to be playing in the slot. How do you guard that?
Well, him being in the slot probably means Sage Ryan's going to get the first crack at it. And I don't know what coverage you end up playing. You've been a quarters cover 3 team. That's been your 2 main ones. It's not even really close. I mean, those are 2 that you run. We looked up yesterday. I think it ends up being 60% of the time. That's kind of who you are.
Insane.
So I don't know if they stick with that, T. As you well know, it's very hard within season to kind of change who you are, change your identity. Maybe during a bye week situation, you can throw a couple of different things in. But to this point, you got to kind of play with what you came into the season with. You can make minor adjustments. Remember, this is not the NFL. In the NFL, you can have wholesale changes week to week. You don't do that in college football. So do they line up? Do they play cover 3? Do they play quarters again? Do they say, hey, you know what, we're going to play more man, be a little bit more aggressive because maybe that will help? Can't hurt.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe they are a little bit more aggressive. Hey, let's play some cover 1. Let's play 2 man. Let's do some other things.
This is something that I really don't understand, like bracketing guys. Like I don't understand double teaming people in pass coverage and how
you can't.
You still make the rest of coverage work.
Exactly. I don't know that you can right now.
Okay.
I don't know that you can get that done. I don't know that you can play bracket coverage right now because you're so thin in different spots in the back end that you're taking away from something else.
Yeah.
And you feel like that's going to get exposed because Missouri's got 3 good receivers. Burton certainly is the guy on the marquee with the blinking lights, but they've got
Who else?
They've got Weeze, who has on the year, let's see. Yeah, he's averaging 11 yards a catch, a little bit down, but I mean he's got 24 catches, 254 yards, already 3 touchdowns this
Good
year.
numbers.
And then Mookie Cooper is somebody that's more of a big play threat. He averages 15 yards per catch. He's right there with Burden. So him and Burden both 15 yards per catch. He's got real burners. So those are 3 guys that Mizzou feels really good about.
Here's hoping Pete Jenkins can do something with the D-line. It sounds funny, but I feel like that's going to be your only chance to get better in pass coverage is going to be the D-line waking up and finding ways to get consistent pressure. Otherwise, Brady Cook's probably going to tear you up the same way that Jackson Dart did, same way that KJ Jefferson did. Another mobile, good quarterback. 3rd in a row. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.